Greetings, everybody. Patrick here. Have Cheetah Will View. Uh, Eight questions with, and we are starting a couple of minutes early because our guest is in the basement. And you know the golden rule here when we do eight questions with, and that is we never make our guests wait. Uh, so we don't want to do that. So I'm going to get this quickly underway, let you guys know what's going on. Um, I guess we're going to have a little extra bonus time to talk. So that's always good. So tonight's guest is Carrie Anne Fleming. Um, just an absolutely wonderful and very, very talented actress. Um, and we're going to be talking to her. I'm going to go ahead and bring her up because I know she's here. So like I said, I don't like waiting. I don't like making people wait in the basement. So um, I'm going to bring her up and then we'll just wait for you guys to get here. All right. Hello, Carrie Ann. Uh, okay. Um, that's I wasn't expecting that. Okay, you know what? I have a feeling she got there early and she expected me to come get her at 8. So let me put her back on pause and I'll go get her at 8 o'clock. All right, 1 second here. Um, that's that's very. I like it though. Okay. All right. So our guest will be here in about 15 minutes or so. Um, so welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Okay, looks like people are coming in on Facebook. That'll probably be, I'm betting it'll probably be either Shannon or Rocky. Um, you guys really rock it out you guys really rock it out for the Facebook. And I really do appreciate it too. Oh, look who's here. Oh boy, the mighty Ice Lord has entered the ring. Um, yeah. What's going on, mighty Ice Lord? And Anthony's here with see, he is 830 subs. He lost one. Where did you lose it at? Hey Jaden, how are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Wow, Rick's here too. All right. So let me tell you about our guest. Our guest is absolutely well, first of all, she's stunning. Two, she's got a just amazing body of work. And us being horror fans as we are, she's done a lot of horror. She's done some science fiction. Um, she's appeared on iZombie, the 4400. She's appeared on Supernatural. Uh, it's just some of the movies that she's popped up in. Um, And she also did a Yui Bowl movie that we're going to be talking about for sure because Yui Bowl is coming here Sunday. So we're going to be talking with her about that too. And so she's done also a lot of she did some superhero stuff, Supergirl, and the one I really want to talk to her about too. She, like I said, she got some really cool stuff here to talk about. She played Kirk and Candace Bure Cameron's mother and the unofficial Full House story. That'll be cool. Let's see. So there's a bunch of things we're going to be talking with Carrie Ann about, plus her love of the outdoors. She is very much an outdoor person. She lives in Canada, so obviously, you know, they got some beautiful country up there to explore. Oh my gosh, it's Rick. Wait a minute, you don't know if that's really Rick or not, Ice Lord. You got to throw out the secret password here. You got to make sure it's really him. You don't want to be saying hi to just an imposter. That's right. I'm glad I'm live. I'm glad I'm live too. We had a lot of fun yesterday. There he is. That's our good friend Rick. Okay, I'm gonna see if our guest is ready. I popped in there and she wasn't. And she set up. She came early. I'm already like hooked already. Let me go see if she's there. She got here early. She's like us. I'm always a half hour early for any stream that I do. I'm here like I always come on for the show. I always show up at 7:30. I putter around till 7:45, then I come up and then we're doing what we're doing here. And she beat me here. I'm already hooked. Uh, feel free to share us out. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. So far, it's been just a crazy fun week for us on Eight Questions with. Starting with last Sunday where we interviewed publicist promoter Stephen Chang. Then we carried that over to Monday where I was joined by the Friendly Men and Jerry Montano as we all talked to John Christ. John Christ, of course, is the original guitarist for the band Danzig. Jerry Montano also recorded an album with Danzig. He played bass. We did an interview with them on Monday, which was absolutely magical. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. Then yesterday we had the delightfully spicy Elise Mola Devereaux, and wow, she was a lot of fun too. So tonight we have Carrie Anne. Tomorrow night we continue on because we have John Land, or I don't know why I say that. John Mack will be here with us. John Marie Mack will be with us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then Sunday the 18th at 1 p.m., we have Yui Bowl coming in. So I'm really happy about that, for the week that we've had here. Is probably my strongest week from top to bottom in quite a long time. And we still have other things coming up. We're going to be talking to a band, Dante AH. We got a young actor coming in. Alex P. Peters will be here. We got filmmaker Francesco Tesoro, who made a terrific fan film on Friday the 13th, Origin of Evil. We'll be talking to him on the 24th. We're already starting to work on July. We're working on some stuff in July. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the place to go for that. All right, so let me go see if our friend is ready to come on, our guest. And she is. So please help me welcome in the lovely Carrie Anne Fleming. Here we go. Yay!
Yay!
I'm already. I already said I'm already hooked already because you got here earlier. You were here earlier than I was.
I'm a professional. Not that you're not. That's not what I meant.
Yeah, yes. I'm so excited to meet you.
I'm always really stressed about like the tech of it, so I always make sure to. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Hi.
It is Carrie Anne, isn't it?
Yep.
Good. I'm excited to have you here. I was like, I watched and I reviewed. I'm going to tell some secrets here for our chat.
Good. So did some research.
Yeah, here's what I did. I watched and I reviewed Jennifer. So whenever I see a movie or something like that, and I see someone catch my eye, I will go over there and I will write to them. I'll say, "Hey, how would you like to come over here and talk about your career?" And that's what I did with you after I watched the movie. I'm like, I wonder if I could talk to her.
Yeah, so you were polite, so I was like, okay.
Thank you. I was just so blown away by your performance. And then I caught your reel, and they're talking about your role and what you had to do for it.
Right.
And wow. Yeah. Wow. I had, that was like, I'm sitting here like this. Now I've seen a lot of horror movies. I have, including Jennifer, and I'm sitting here, but I'm seeing you work. I'm seeing you do, and I'm just like,
that was work. If I had to do that now, it would be so different. I was such a fan of zombie movies back then, and I would watch all the special features and everything, and it was kind of like all I would watch was zombie movies. So it was really easy to work with the blood, and I knew exactly what they needed. As far as like the sort of the jump scare of it, and the scariness and the creepiness, and but now I'm just like so peaceful and into yoga. I don't know if it would be a totally different approach.
Yeah, because you definitely were like that was like the mosh pit approach what you did for that role. I mean, you were
That's right.
just
That's a
it was,
great way to put it. Yes.
just if you haven't seen that, I'm going to be putting your IMDb page down below,
Okay.
and you can go to her Carrie Ann's IMDb page with her reel is there, and you can take a look at what she went through to bring us one of the classic Masters of Horror episodes. Um, wow, and that's such a it's such a cult following too.
Well, it's Dario
Um,
Argento.
yes,
Yeah.
between Argento, between there was like 13 episodes made. Um, we have people out there looking for those movies. I mean, it's like people are like, you type in on Amazon or eBay, and you'll see them priced really high because they're sought after so much.
Yeah.
Um, but you've been in a lot of really, really fun projects.
I have. That is true.
Um, But before we get to those fun projects,
Okay.
I want to go ahead and acknowledge the chat. I want to say hi to everybody coming in for our show tonight. Our good friend Rick is here. Our good friend Echo Zero just came in. I am the Ice Lord. He's a celebrity in his own right.
Wonderful.
Paul and Nada, they're here. Thank you so much. Glad you guys are here. Feel free to share us out if you'd like to. Um, and so I guess the first question I would have to ask a little bit is,
Okay.
we know you're in Canada.
Yep.
But now, were you born and raised in Canada? Have you always been, you're a Canadian by birth, right?
Yeah, I'm Canadian. I was born in Nova Scotia, which is on the East Coast, but I live on the West Coast.
So it's 5 o'clock where you're at, right?
That's right.
And I asked you this yesterday. How's the fire situation where you're at?
It's what can I say? So I live on like an island.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so there's no fire here. The fires are actually in Alberta. Um, but then we do have some fire, a small amount of fire close by, but it's nothing like it's not encroaching on my area or anything.
Now, wow, I didn't know you're on an island. I know that you're huge into being outdoors and nature, and I saw the pictures of you surfing, so I know you surf.
That's right.
Which
Yeah.
huh?
I that's why I moved to this island, just so I could be closer to the good surf on the West Coast.
It must be a really tranquil place to be in between acting jobs, to be able to come home to an island like that. Like you really are. A lot of people like to go away to decompress after a job, and but they're still stuck in the middle of the city, so to speak. It
So,
must be sort of.
well, I'll
Uh,
just, if I could speak about that for a while. Like I actually, when I was working a lot, you work a lot so that you can go on vacation, and
mhm.
then you find yourself on vacation, and you're like, cool. Um, Now I can relax, but it takes so long for your nervous system to just actually let go of all the things that you're trying on, because a lot of gigs that you can see in my resume is a lot of activating the nervous system. So you're like, you can get really constricted. And so I had to take a lot of time off to just be able to have something to offer my craft. And I'm still in the midst of taking that time off, because I would find that I would go on vacation and not ever come, I was never coming down from the high of working.
Oh my gosh! So is it safe to say or would you consider yourself a method actor then?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
so
I
when I
think
was Jennifer, absolutely, I was totally a method actor. And then you start to realize as you get older, it's like that's probably not good for my body at all, or your mind. You can
Right.
actually drive yourself totally crazy. But with Jennifer in particular, Dario and I had a conversation before, and he was like, I need an actress that would go crazy. And I was like, totally, you got it. Like, and I just went all in. I was like climbing trees to train because I had a few months to prepare. So I was just like working out really hard, and but differently. Like the movements were very, I wasn't just lifting weights, but I was just like sort of crawling on the ground and crawling on trees, and like sort of anytime I would see a dog, I would think about just really, I was just going there. I really went there with it. And then it took me like a good couple of years to just shed.
Ar Look, I've seen Argento.
That.
I've seen Argento do a lot of interviews. I've seen him, every all of us have.
Yeah.
We've seen him do a lot of interviews. I can really honestly say when I saw him talk about your performance in Jennifer,
Yeah.
he was blown away. He was in awe of you.
We got on really well.
I mean, he was in awe. He was just sitting there like, holy, it's like, holy shit, what is that? It's like, this is awesome. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. At the audition, it was really special because there was like 9 producers, which is not really normal. Like sometimes there's a lot of people in the room, but there was 9 producers in the room. And I've told this story before, but there was a scene that I had to do, and um, I thought I thought they had said this one scene, which was I had to like do that bit where I attack a cat. But when so I did that. I attacked a pillow, and everyone started laughing except for Dario. Everyone started laughing. They're like, "Oh, Carrie, you don't understand," because actually they had rewritten it and they wanted me to sort of make friends with the cat, which was make friends with the pillow. Anyway, everyone's laughing. I'm on my knees, like just like super in it, and Dario's like, shut up, everyone. Carrie understands everything," and then
mhm.
I got the part. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely he definitely loved your performance. I mean, you
Yeah.
can just see that, when he's talking about it and says, Carrie Ann had to go to, a really, she had to go places that she went there. And
Yeah.
and
So
it's obvious in the film too. You can definitely see that. And yeah, I was sort of heartbroken when I saw you kill the kitty. I was like, oh, that sort of sucked.
that was
Like,
the only time in that scene where I like in between takes where I looked at the props, because that's what it is. It's special effects, and I gagged a little bit, but other than that, like I was fine eating everything else. But it was just that one moment where it was a cat. Yeah, it hurt me too. But it's that scene in particular is why I got the part, I believe.
um, well, that I think what really helped out too was you were able to do the prosthetics. I mean, the makeup for Jennifer is absolutely stunning. I mean,
Yes. So that's Howard Berger.
yeah, from KMB.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot about how can you stand. Yeah, it's kind of like torture. Um,
Mm.
but it's such a pleasure, and I was so into that sort of genre back then. So I was very stoked. But I will say, like, the very first day, there was this was like a producer that was on set that was inappropriate, and it really made for the experience, like it wrecked the experience on the first day for me. And then when I sat into the chair the next day to get this prosthetic put on my face, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to communicate with people, it made me cry. Um, and then that I was able to speak to other producers and make some changes. So by Wednesday we were rocking.
Um, yeah, you know what? Why do I mean, it seems to happen that way, right? Some producers, I mean, they sort of like they get that title and they think they're entitled. And whereas like, that's not what a producer does. A producer does a certain amount of things,
Right.
but they don't interfere with your performance.
And
They don't talk to you. They don't offer you advice. They don't do any of that. That's not their job. Their job is to make sure there's money for the project, make sure there's, locations and everything else. So
yeah.
why was it even on set?
We're exactly. And so after Wednesday, he was never on set again.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah. So you get it.
Oh yeah, I
But you're
get it.
blindsided every time because you think like I'm here working for you, so don't you want me to do a good job? But he I guess just didn't understand that his energy and in my face is really it messes with your process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Um, so how long did it? I mean, obviously, I mean, it was probably the most one of the most intense roles you've done. So, what was your process? When you first started your career, and when you decided to do method, did 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 your acting teachers, your acting coaches, did they tell you? Did they give you tools and techniques to disengage from your characters after you were done? Or that
Uh,
was something you had to find out on your own?
yeah, I had one acting teacher who very much drove home the point of make sure you take care of yourself first. And but you can't really conceptualize that when you're in your early 20s. Like you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like but you just
Right. We're
you
all
don't
immortal in our 20s, right?
yeah, you don't understand what she means, but you're taking it in and but now I understand. Like it's about like taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. The method was really just what I had thought acting was, but then after many years in the business, I wanted to learn a way of being able to pop in and out of like because it's action and cut and there's a lot of time in between that and you spend a lot of time in your trailer and so you want to be ready when they come to get you and knock on the door but you don't want to open the door like what like you want to yeah I'm ready and then you want it to you want to be able to put it down and pick it up and put it down and pick it up and I found the only way to do that is just tons of preparation and then go back to being yourself and you do the hair and makeup and just sort of like keep a little bits of it with you and then just doing that allows that when you do step into that circle of light and they call action that it just comes
Um,
instead of torturing yourself the entire time and then you step into that circle of light and it doesn't come and then you just be like killing yourself
so
which
would it safe to say for you, would it be safe to say that you started getting into your character? Were you into your character the minute you got out of your car, or did you get into your character before? Oh hell, did you get into your character before you even came to set,
you
or
mean for Jennifer.
for any role? Because I'm sure method, being method, I'm sure you know,
Well,
that's your process, right? I mean, that's your
well
style of acting, right?
you
For every
right
role.
but you have to be careful I mean you like a lot of roles I'm playing like Jennifer if I was method it would be kind of scary for people on set and that's so and then the other roles I take on are like it would be fine if I was on set being method but I started to notice like if a guy's playing a rapist and he's on set and he's in character all the time it's not comfortable for people and
No.
so I no you like you you hope that people on set sort of respect your process but that you don't have to share your process and so like you just with that one experience with the producer of just in my face all the time that's where I started to learn that you can have conversations like hey I'm running my lines here or just 1 second or I'll be right there or just saying what you need just saying what you need but am I you're just constantly carrying it with you because you're gonna have to pull it out um soon you're just like yeah when I take on a role I'm constantly thinking about it but method is just not really great for the nervous system.
I'm thinking three actors that do that, and you're right. I mean, you think about Joaquin Phoenix. When I
Yeah.
think of method actors, I think of Joaquin Phoenix. I think of Ben Foster, and I think of Jared Leto. I read about Ben Foster. He did that. He did the Emancipation with Will Smith, and he got to the set, and
And
he
wouldn't
did
talk to him.
he wouldn't talk to him at all. Um, yeah, he didn't talk to him until the last day of the shoot, until he wrapped, and then he came up there and said, "Hi, I'm Ben." I mean, how crazy is that? You're working with the guy, every day, and hey, how about those Lakers? It's like the guy's
Yeah.
not breaking, he's not breaking character.
Yeah, that must have been really weird for Mr. Smith, but I guess he's probably figured it out and then used it. But yeah, it's up to the cast to sort of set the tone for set, and they were dealing with some really intense subject matter. Um, but you still want to, I don't know, for me, I want to have a good time when I go to work. I'm
Yes.
there to work, but I do want to have a good time, and I want people to leave feeling good after they've interacted with me. If
Oh,
and
I'm sure. I'm
interact with people, yeah,
uh,
that's the fun.
obviously. I mean, I'm sitting here, like I said, I've seen Argento. I followed his career for years, and I've never seen him do an interview where he's just absolutely blown away by one of his actors' performances like that. I've never seen that before
Oh, that's cool.
from him. Yeah, that's very cool. I highly recommend people go to your IMDb page and check out that reel because that's amazing. Um, but before we get into a little bit more of Jennifer and some other things, but you were born in Canada, so I mean we established that. Well, now, what was your upbringing like? I mean, as far as your creativity go, were you a writer first, a reader first? How old were you when you got the tinkle to become an actor?
Well, I was an only child until I was about 10 and a half. So I was alone a lot and just playing by myself. And I was big into pretend. Um, and I grew up in the Bahamas. My dad was a captain of boats, and he later learned, I think he was sort of running things from the Bahamas to Panama. um, anyway, um,
Running
uh,
things like slightly like off normal stuff.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Good
um,
for that.
yeah, I know. But it was a wonderful place to grow up, and I remember being around 6 or 7 or 8, and on the beach where we on this island we lived on called Water Island, they set up a big fabric screen, and they played Xanadu, and my mind was just absolutely blown, and I thought Olivia Newton-John, I thought that like really existed. And so when I learned that she was a country singer, and then when she was in Greece, I was really confused because I was like, no, she's Kira from Xanadu. But when I noticed that you could do that, and then you could also be these other things, and I got very interested in performing, and I would do plays in elementary school. And then my father was also he also raised me in Miami, and got me into modeling down there. And he was on Miami Vice once, and so it was just sort of like in my vernacular to do that. And then just all through high school, I did plays, and then as soon as I graduated high school, I moved to Vancouver, BC, and started working and
What?
going.
Why Vancouver? Why not Hollywood or New York or Chicago?
I know, good point. Well, I saw that I really liked. Well, my family was settled here in BC by that point. My mom, and I wanted to be close to them so I could take care of them, or like help. And Vancouver like has had a ton of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I was 21, I went to Hollywood and got an agent and did a bit of work, but I I'm really glad that I stayed in Vancouver and did the work I did in Vancouver and just tried to make it work in Vancouver. I could have went to Toronto as well, but I just it's a bit too big. I've done some work there, but I prefer BC.
Uh, Let's see. I'll check the chat here real quick. Let's see. Everybody's coming in. We're gonna have to talk about music a little bit later. Our friend Steven, he's a country singer. He wants to know some about your musical choices.
Okay,
Let's see. See. North says, yes, I saw the T-shirt too. I was thinking about that too, North. Your Thrasher shirt. I'm totally stoked on that.
cool.
Yeah, that's a fun shirt. Um, all right. Let's see. Let's see. Yep. Let's see. Vancouver is a beautiful city. Yes, Canada. Just, I mean, every time I talk to this, I know some of the folks here will probably hear, they hear me say this a lot, but well, Canada has such a wealth of actors.
Yeah.
You guys have so much talent up north.
Yes, but no star system.
You know what? That's actually true, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just trying. What's the one guy that does the gas show? Um,
Corner
Red
gas.
something. Was it? Yeah, Corner Gas. The guy. I guess his name is Red or something like that.
I
Red.
forget his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's the like as far as the star goes. Like I think he's probably the biggest one that I've seen that actually like could you like that because otherwise it's all pretty much all ensemble. Um, is that by design? Do Canadian productions
I don't
or the studios do they do that by design not to develop a star?
I don't know. Like I think it like if you do a Canadian like if you do a commercial that plays in BC or Canada, um, you only get a certain amount of money. But if you get a US national, there's tons of money. I think because the audience, there's just much more people in the States than there are in Canada. And I feel like Canadians kind of don't care about a star system, even though the actors really want one. But like um, lots of famous people can come to Vancouver and they're really left alone because we just, I don't care.
He's just another actor, right?
You're right. Yeah, we just don't care.
Right. There's no tiers or A list or D list or C list or anything like that. You're just a working actor.
That's right.
Because I've talked to a lot of, over here that consider big stars.
Mhm.
Paul Green, he's huge over here because of his work in um, When Calls the Heart and from all the Hallmark movies he does. But over in the States, he's massive. He's very popular. Um, okay, so you did your you started doing stage plays and whatnot. Now, did you go to college for acting? Is that something you did, or did you just
I went
um,
to Vancouver Film School, and then I went to pretty much all the acting schools in Vancouver. I went to Vancouver Film School for screenwriting and filmmaking and acting, and then went to like Gastown Actors Working Studio, the Foundation, and then that teacher that I was talking about that reminded me to take care of myself was Nancy Sivak. I've studied in LA with Jeremiah Comey. Um, and and that's yeah, it was important to me to keep studying, but then you kind of start to realize that I need to get out of class and live so I can have something to give my characters.
right,
Like,
right?
have
You
a
have
life.
some life experience yeah. I mean, you can play a character, but if you don't have much life experience, it's sort of hard to create that character.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, so okay. So I mean, I love I want to talk a little bit about acting school, if you don't mind a little bit. What are some of the etiquette? What are some of the do's and don'ts to a new person going inside of an acting school? I mean, if you were teaching a class, you were
Yeah.
the teacher. What are some of the what were some, and I'm a brand new rookie. I'm wet behind the ears. I have no experience, no nothing.
Okay.
What are some of the things that a new student to acting? What should they do? What they shouldn't do in terms of when they're being taught?
What should you mean, like in the business or as far as a
Yeah,
pro?
No, if I was sitting in class and all of a sudden I decided to, if I let's say I was giving advice to somebody,
Yeah.
or I was, is that something that's frowned upon, or is that just individual teachers that like are students allowed to are encouraged to express themselves, or does it depend on the teacher? Sometimes the
Oh,
teacher just wants to talk
yeah.
and they want you to listen.
Okay, well, I would say I think what you're asking is like the it's acting class isn't therapy. So what I find is as soon as people like if you're new or if you've been in class for a while, as soon as you're put on the spot, you'll cry and it's just because your emotions want to move. And so the best advice I could give anyone entering acting class is to get into therapy so that you can work on yourself so that you have something to offer the roles and so that you can get so that all that stuff can be is taken care of and is not in the way, and so you don't waste time in your class sort of getting over these humps that are your ticks is what they would call them.
You really have to be an empty vessel, don't you, when you first start?
you
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 really
want to
can't.
be you want to be open so that like you want to be an open channel so that that ideas can just flow through and you're not second guessing yourself in the moment.
Um, exactly. I can see that because I mean, it's a tough business. I mean, we talked about it. We talk about it a lot. Like for every time you go out for a role, for every role that you win, you might lose four.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's tough. It can be
I've
tough.
seen people get fired at at read throughs, like just the table read, and they flub a line and then they are fired. And yeah, it's pretty ruthless.
Wow, that's that would be rough.
It is rough. Yeah.
Table read. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so what was your first? I mean, you were in college. So what kind of work did you do in college? I mean, what kind of plays did you do? Because don't you do like a couple of plays a year as a student?
No, so that was film school. So there was no plays in the film school.
No,
But
no.
you
Oh,
did short films. So
okay.
yeah,
Did
so
you
you
did
were
you
in the students doing the short films, you would audition for their short films and do them. And so I did one called The Swishy Washy and another one that was called Smells Like can I swear?
yes.
Okay, it was called Smells Like Shit. And yeah, I'm still friends with both of those directors to this day. And it was really neat to be on set. It was really helpful as an actor to be on set with I remember the directors in particular because they're brand new and they're in school too. And sometimes they didn't know what to do and they would have to ask for help. And it was just wonderful to like be part of that collaborative process. Whereas now they always know exactly what they want.
Oh, yeah, I guess, but it's gained through experience, but it is sort of nice though when they have an experienced actor when they're first starting out that knows what they're doing. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of pressure off their shoulders. Like they have so much already to worry about. So,
Yeah.
when you don't have to worry about the actors, that's just gonna be like, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
'cause she knows her shit. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about Carrie Ann. She's on it.
Right. But
Uh,
then you do have to worry about like the people who don't know their job in the lighting department and they like the lights are so hot that they burn your hair or, yeah, stuff like that.
oh,
Or like people who are training to be producers and they're thinking that producing is all about hitting on the cast. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
no,
As we
yeah,
found that out, that's not the case.
no.
Uh, yeah, producers are they have to go and define, read what the word means, see what
Yeah.
your duties are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people think that that's what since they got the money, they can, like entitlement. It's like it's inappropriate.
Well,
Well, well,
I go back to my old high school and I talk to the drama class there because the my old drama teacher enjoys me coming to speak to them. He says because I tell the truth, and something I always say is that a lot of people have gotten into this industry to get laid, and you have to be aware of that. And so that you're not blindsided. A lot of people are here doing great work, and that's always a pleasure. Like it's,
Mm.
but for me, until I was like on iZombie, it was really consistent of, it was super consistent of like, is anyone here to work? Like, is this just like a pickup factory? Because I'm here to work so I can feed myself. So it was very confusing. So once I got to iZombie, and I had such a good experience on iZombie, and no one was inappropriate, and it was just such a wild, fun show. That's when I thought, after iZombie is when I decided to take a break, because it
Uh,
was a good experience and I wanted to leave on a high note.
Now you are going to come back, right? You haven't retired. You're too young to retire.
Yeah, I'm not retired. But I just feel so, like, the Me Too movement happened and everyone in town was like, "What are we going to do, Carrie?" And I was like, "I've been talking about this forever." And and then also I noticed that a lot of, like, I don't work for Hallmark. And so a lot of the productions in Vancouver are Hallmark. A lot of our auditions are Hallmark. So when I do come back, I'll have to probably go to Toronto or LA, which will be fine.
Would you like to do Hallmark?
No.
Not a word in the chat. Not a word. Not a damn word. You guys, don't sell me out. Don't sell me out.
I watched the Lindsay Lohan latest one where she's like on the ski hill, and that was fantastic. I do too get sucked in, but I'll just say is they don't pay our rate, and it's actually 50% less scale, which is, so scale is what you would get paid if you're a beginning actor.
Right.
I've been working for a really long time, and they're offering me 50% less scale, so less than a beginning actor, and then no residuals. And they made that deal with our union for 5 years, and then it's still really happening. But I too enjoy a good Hallmark movie, but for me, I have trouble applying my process to the script. I
Oh,
I
God,
can't
yes.
say, I can't sell that dialogue, and that's the gig. You got to sell the words, and I
You,
probably, what?
you like the more physical type work. You like the action adventure type. I
I'm not
mean,
sure what I like right now. I don't know. I'm in this sort of limbo zone of, after COVID, or when COVID happened and everyone was quarantining. My alarm keeps going off. Everyone was quarantining. My friends were like, "Carrie's been quarantining for like a year." Like, I sort of got tired of being touched, because you're like always being picked at on set, and I got tired of being in crowds, so I got tired of going to events, and I really wanted to just get a lot smaller and do some more reading. I started getting into yoga and surfing a lot more, and sailing, and just doing other stuff that wasn't me sitting in a trailer waiting to get called on.
right. No, I'm hearing you.
You're
I'm
cool.
hearing you. I'm sitting here going like I'm not an actor, but what she's describing is pretty much a lot of what me and a lot of other people like. I don't go out very much myself. I go out once a week, unless the only time I ever go out is I go and pay my bills,
Yeah.
go grocery shopping, and the only other place I go to when I do go out, I go to my local library once a week,
Right on.
and I go film hunting. They sell used movies at the library. In
Oh,
fact,
wow.
that's where I found Jennifer at.
Get out of town.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm so glad you found me. Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
uh, so I can relate. I still wear a mask when I go out. I don't have anybody come over to the house. I don't really go anywhere to any company or anything like that. So I get it. I do.
Oh, so
Um,
but you do this.
well, I do. Yes, I do this.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. I definitely do.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um, so you're enjoying the time that you're enjoying your downtime, and that's good. I mean, that is good. Um, let's see. Hey, Stephen. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Uh, what was your what was the first speaking role that you booked?
My very first role on film was in the movie Happy Gilmore, but I was cut out.
What? Oh,
I know.
I wanna. Who do we? Who?
You probably
Who do we
talked
talk to
to
about that?
what's that?
Who do we? They don't have they had the Zack Snyder cut of Batman.
Yeah,
Well, we want the Carrie Anne Fleming cut of
right.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh yeah.
so tell us a little bit about the experience. What role did you play on that?
I played a stripper, and or rather it was like she was dressed in a golf outfit and then came into a party scene, and she looked like she was a golfer, but then she had this tearaway, or I had this tearaway golf outfit, and um um Happy Gilmore had got me to like welcome all of the new golfers to the tour, and I filmed that and then went all the way down to LA
Oh,
to,
oh,
I know, to see it. And I'm watching the movie, and the scene ends literally. Adam's like, well, I guess that's it. And he exits, and I'm like, what? And
oh,
they just completely cut my scene out. And I was at that, like, I was so young. I didn't realize that like they film so much and then they cut out so much. But I will say, um, at the rap party, this martini's kicking in. At the rap party, the the director invited me back to his hotel room because he said that there was a party there, and I thought, and he's like, Adam's going to be there, like everyone's going to be there because the rap party had started to dwindle it down, and he said everyone's back at the hotel room, and so I went with him, and no one was there at
ooh, I
all.
know who the
Yeah.
director is too. I know who the
So
director is. Ooh, that's gross.
yeah, and then so I just said I don't feel well, and I left, but then I was cut out of the movie.
Oh, so that was his. Oh God, what a really.
Allegedly.
I know who the director is.
Yeah,
That's
and
gross.
that was my first taste, right? So I'm like, I'm now in the business after that, like with a chip on my shoulder, and wary of people, which was good, but at the same time, it was it it's completely unacceptable.
It is.
Yeah.
He should have been ashamed of himself. He was old enough to be your father.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tell you. Um, yeah. What was it like working with Adam though? I mean, how was he a gentleman or was he part of the old boys network?
One time I was like, we hung out a bit because they had he had a couple parties at the hotel, and
Okay.
so I had I came once, and he was talking to Chris Farley on the phone,
Mm.
and I thought, yeah, he was like, I have to go, my friend's here, and I was like, ah, like I just was such a fan of Chris Farley. Um, Adam Sandler was okay. He was okay. Yeah, he was nice on set. He was nice on set, and he certainly liked me. That's for sure.
Well, I can understand that. Um, Chris Farley. I mean, did you get a chance to ever meet him or
No,
no?
no, but yeah, just that's just that he was on the phone, sort of. Really,
For, as a,
that just
have you lost anybody? Any of your peers? Have you lost any of your peers the way that Chris Farley went? Have you known anybody to who
I
crashed and
lost a couple of people during COVID. I'm not sure if it was from COVID, but I think like a there's a an actor, and he was really into Uwe Boll. Actually, I just heard you mention him,
yeah?
and he passed away from a heart attack, and he just wasn't leaving his house and so he wasn't getting exercise, and he of course wasn't seeing his doctor, and he already had some heart issues. So um and yeah, there's been some overdoses, definitely some eye-opening experiences of but just yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Steven says, he says he's, oh, hi, Bud Files, how are you? And Steven mentions that he's a fan of both series, a fan of iZombie and probably Supernatural too, and a fan of Rose McIver. Um,
Oh,
I'm
she's
a
so
fan,
wonderful.
I'm a fan
So
of her
yeah,
father.
I
Her
haven't
father.
spoken very highly of anyone, but I will speak very highly of Rose McIver. She's just so nice, and she was very nice the very first day I was on set, which I just had a day part on the very first season. It was like the second episode, and just the way I handled that scene, they found a way to write me back into the show, and that's why I got to be on the show for 5 seasons. Um, but that day, like, it was Rose's second episode, and she couldn't have been nicer, and she was just so lovely, and she was lovely throughout the entire season. And anytime I told her that, she was like, no, no, no. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm it's always frustrating to meet women in power in this industry and be like, I'm so glad you exist. And they're like, it's no big deal. And you're like, okay, because for me, it really seems like it is a big deal. And I'm really glad you're here. That happened on Jennifer as well. There was a female producer, and I was like, like, there was no other female producers, and she just kind of played it off like it was no big deal. I'm like, no, this is a really big deal that you're here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, when that inappropriate producer was being inappropriate, I didn't actually name him. I wasn't like, this is the reason I'm uncomfortable, but she was able to pick it up, and he wasn't on set anymore, and then she was on set for the time, rest of the time.
Now, did you meet Rose's dad, Boris?
No,
Ah,
her real dad?
yeah,
No.
yeah, Boris McIver. Yeah,
Is
he's a
he an actor?
yes, very good one
Oh,
too.
wow.
He was in Person of Interest with Jim
Oh,
Caviezel and Sarah Shahi,
oh,
and Amy Acker.
was he an
Michael,
actor
Michael,
before she was? Or
uh, yes, yes, he's yeah. Um,
neat.
Yeah, it is neat. I saw that. When I saw her name, I'm going like, I wonder, and I went and I looked, and yes, unless I'm reading the list, unless someone's trolling me, but yes, Rose, her father was an actor named Boris. I'm not sure what he's doing now. I mean, Person of Interest was on a few years. It's been off the air for a few years, so I haven't seen him since the show. But I do know Rose McGowan. I have like 2, 3 seasons of iZombie. I've actually found them, but
Yeah.
I'm weird. I'm weird. It's like I don't. Whenever I collect a TV series,
Yeah.
I like to get the whole series first before I watch it.
Do you go to the library, you don't use Netflix or anything like that?
No, no, no.
Cool.
I'm a physical collector.
You're a purist.
Yes, I'm a purist.
That's
And most of the people in our chat are purists too.
neat.
Like they're collecting. They're looking for the Masters of Horrors too. They're, oh yeah, I'm looking for that. It's
Oh, right on.
highly thought after. Um, uh, so wow, yeah, that's such an interesting story about Happy Gilmore. Okay, so let's talk about the first time that you actually got to stay on the screen.
Yeah.
Um, so what was your next project that you actually got to see yourself
Oh,
and tell your mom and dad and your friends?
that was Stargate.
Nice.
Yeah, just a really, really small little bit. Peter DeLuise was the director, and I didn't even speak English. I can still remember the line, which was ma rule, natanti, natanti. It's just like, I just couldn't. I was so stoked, and it was that was really, really fun. Yeah, that was cool. Because back then it was like there was Stargate, there was like Cold Squad for a while. Stargate, Viper was a show.
Hyper. Yeah, I remember that. I think
Yeah.
that was that with Nick Mancuso?
I can't do. I don't know, but yeah, there's like I did a lot of I had that part, but I also did a lot of like not extra work, but like special skills extra work. So like basically um like featured on screen, but you were silent. So like if they needed like a really good looking bartender or a really good looking dancer on the that they wanted to sort of highlight, then I was getting those gigs. Because I got known by the casting directors that I was like helpful on set and um, just had good set etiquette, and so they could count on me to show up. Like one of my first gigs was on the TV show. Um, I can't remember. Um, it was a cop show, but I played a. They hired me to play an extra as a prostitute, and I don't know if you know Vancouver, but we have this place called the Downtown East Side where it's very they shoot a lot down there because it's has so much character, but it's where all of our drug addicts reside. And
Mm.
my call time was 5 a.m. and I showed up at 4:30 a.m. dressed like a prostitute, and I was just like just so ready to go. But thinking back now, that's just it was crazy. It was a silly choice.
That was your. I would take it that was your own outfit. You were dressed in, right? You
Yeah,
brought
I
your
had
own
like
clothes.
gold pants on and a red leather jacket, and my hair was super done. Like I was just super excited to be on set. But yeah, not to
Yeah.
say I was fine, like nothing happened to me, but it wasn't until I got there that I like the cab dropped me off that I realized this
Uh,
this wasn't a
yeah,
good trip.
yeah. I mean, you were there a little too early.
Yeah, too early, just too
th-
eager.
well, you know what though? I mean, I bet you. Well, look at those habits still haven't died, right? I mean, you were the earliest guest I've ever had. I mean,
Right.
I came, I normally how I do is I come on, I sign in at 7:30, and then I just putter around till 7:45, and then I go up, and then the guest comes at 8 o'clock. When I signed in, you were already there, and I checked. I went to say hi, and then it was just your chair. So I said, okay, she's just she's here. I mean, she's really here early. I was like, that's cool. That's so much fun. Um,
Okay.
but I take it that's your work habit though. That's something that you've always done. I
Well, yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
people are, but people are supposed to be. They're not supposed to come on at 7:45, right? So,
no. They generally come on at 8 o'clock. But I have a rule though. I do have a rule, and that is as soon as they get there, we go up. I don't sit there and say, well, she's here at 7:30 or she's here at 7:45. I got to make her sit there for 15 minutes. No, I'm
no.
not going to do that. We'll just come up there, and I just means I get an extra 15 minutes of bonus talk.
I,
So
okay.
that's how I look at it.
Okay.
But I love the fact that you got here so early though.
No problem.
Um, so that's a good habit. That's a still like I said, that's a habit you still have today. I'm sure like if you were doing a shoot tomorrow, you'd be there a half hour earlier than when your call time is.
Um. Well, I like to go early so that I can decompress, and so you're not frantically rushing from traffic. Yeah, like I plan ahead. My therapist says the same thing because I pay before my session, and she's like, "No one ever does that," and I was like, "Well,
Please.
like so I guess maybe it's the same vein. I respect you. I respect your time.
Yeah, you're adorable. Okay, I said that. Yeah, that came out of my mouth. All right, but she
Okay.
did. So get over yourself, chat. Don't you agree with me though? I mean, give me a hell yeah. Um, So okay, so that's fun. Like I said, I'm looking at the list of projects you've done, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting there going, like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I mean, you were in the Sentinel, you're in like you said, the
The
Viper.
Sentinel. That was the TV show I was trying to think of. Where
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I remember watching that a few episodes of that. I saw Secret Agent Man. That was fun. I remember that. You were also in the Dead Zone.
Oh
That
yeah.
was your first. Was that your first Stephen King show?
Yeah. And I was so I think I'm listed as fresh faced teenager, and so
Um,
I went into the audition and did that thing, but then I got really really sick, and I showed up to set talking like this. Like I
um,
was so I don't know what happened, but I had was like spitting up green stuff, like really, really, really sick. And the director was super confused because my voice was crazy. But he didn't say anything. He just was like, "Oh, that's different."
and you got through it.
I got
How
through.
how do you deal with that when you? I mean, because it's like
You die. You die.
yeah.
Because I was so young then. I was just like, "This is my gay." Like I guess I got myself so excited that I just imploded inside. Also, I
Well,
was working with what is the lead actor in the Dead Zone?
Anthony Michael Hall, I think.
Yeah, so I was a huge Breakfast Club fan, so I was very very excited to be on set. And by that time I had met Jed Nelson. I and I had worked on a TV show where Ali Sheedy was on it, and so to see Anthony Michael Hall, I was very apologize.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Anthony Michael Hall when he was on Saturday Night Live, and then he just right, he did Weird Science, and then he just slowly matured, and it is the
Well,
right
he
guy.
got yeah, he it confused us because he got so big, and we were like, you look different," and public can't really handle when people change. We get confused, but he
Did
had to
you?
grow up. He gets to grow
Yeah.
up.
Did you have that problem too? Did people think, when they first knew you, when you were first starting out, and then as you started getting more and more known, and becoming more and more in demand, and you started working more, how was it like around your friends and your family and your peers? I mean, you know,
It, yeah, it's
did you
weird.
notice any changes towards you? Did their attitudes change towards you?
What I found was everyone had a kid who they wanted to know how to get into acting, whether they should get them into acting. They always want to know who, who's the most famous person I've met. Like it's sort of on the spot questions where I really just thought of it as a job, and yeah, it does make things weird. It does make things weird. Like there was a certain point where my mom wanted to manage me. I was like, no,
Oh.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, parents, yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I know there's a lot of parents that manage their kids. Sometimes they do it right though. Like I do
Yeah,
know, I can actually think of two people right now
yeah.
who are managed by their parents, and they're absolutely 100% rooted. They're
I,
grounded. They're responsible.
oh yeah,
One's a Canadian actress named Ella Ballantyne.
oh yeah.
She, do you know Ella?
No,
Okay. Yeah, she's like, I think she's in her early 20s now, but she was very much rooted with her parent. And then the other one was an Australian actress named Ruby Lott, and her mom was a mother bear. She
oh
was
that
yeah.
yeah, that would have been helpful. Yeah, my mom not it wouldn't be great. But I did play one. I think I did a lot of research with that Candace Cameron Bure
Yeah.
mom. She wrote a book and I read it, and she just seemed like such an awesome human being. And that was really fun to do research on her. And it was really, really fun to do that project, behind the scenes of a what was it called? Behind the scenes of a 90s.
Let me go back and see. Yeah, I saw that. That was really interesting. Did you get a chance to have you ever met any of the other did you get a chance to meet Candace or Kirk?
No, but after it aired, Candice Bure tweeted that it was so awful. And that was annoying because we all worked so hard. Like, I did a ton of research and we were on set every single day. And we were just like, the kids were so great. And everyone just did so much. Like, everyone just put their heart and soul into it. And then for Candice to just be like, it sucked. It was like, oh, that's
You
confusing.
Yeah, we'll see I'm trying to find it for it. You know what though, but you know what? I think Candace presents a really good front. you know,
Yeah.
really happy and but inside, I don't think she's a very nice person.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really, I like her work. I mean, I enjoy watching her act. I mean, let's see, the unauthorized Full House story,
That's
and
it.
you play
Yeah.
Barbara. You play Barbara.
It
Um,
was so fun. It
yeah,
was just
it's rough to like somebody like that. When you can separate the work from the person, of course, but still, when you know what that person's like inside, and it sort of taints it. You're thinking, wow, you're sort of a bigot, and you're sort of a homophobic, and sort of,
yeah, exactly.
white
I wasn't gonna
supremacist.
say it. I was gonna okay.
No, I'm
I'm glad
saying
you
it.
said it.
I don't, you know what? I
I
cut
did
loose.
not I didn't know that going in. I might have, I don't know, maybe approached the I'm glad I didn't know that going in because she wasn't really the Candace we have now. Like in the Candace who was playing her in the film was just a kid, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't know what happens to that. I mean, you think that you would be, you think that working in Hollywood, or even Vancouver or whatnot, you think that you would be a lot more open minded.
yeah,
You can still have your faith and still be open minded. And it
yeah,
was just so disappointing to see somebody like, okay, there's someone who grew up in front of our eyes, and she's a nice looking lady. She's well spoken, and you like her work like I do. I mean,
yeah,
and then that happens. It's sort of just
yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, huh,
Uh,
yeah.
uh, how many times did you have to audition for that? I mean, what was that like to audition? Did you have to go through the hoops for that, or did you just get it after your first read, or
Actually, I do have a little bit of a story. I auditioned and then I was on the table as a possibility, and the casting director said to her assistant, um, I think Carrie Ann would do a very good job at this, but I just don't see her as a mother figure. And the assistant knew me really well, and she literally said, shut the fuck up. I know Carrie and she is a mother. She literally said that. And so the casting director then pushed me forward to the next round of auditions, and then I booked it.
oh,
So I'm
okay,
really, and yeah, it was April Tilek was the assistant, and I really appreciate her. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Now now you have kids yourself then?
I have one. Yeah.
Are they in the business, or do they
She's
want to be?
incredibly talented. We on this island that I live on, I've got sort of like a little bit of a film community going on, and someone was filming, wrote a film, and they had a audition process and first a script read through, and just so he could hear it, and then he was going to have auditions. But we did the table read, and my daughter booked a role just from the table read alone. Everyone else had to audition. I coached her, and she just killed it. And like everyone's jaw was on the floor, but acting is not something that she actually wants to pursue. But she filmed a bit of that role, and they haven't the script. So the film has sort of got shelves for a little bit, but hopefully it will go again. And I'm sure she'll do that part because she found that part really interesting. But as far as a profession, I'm not pushing her towards being an actor, but she would do really well.
See, that's a really cool thing. I mean, you're letting her do whatever she wants. I think a lot of Hollywood kids, I think it's just some of them definitely get pushed into the business. Recently it seems like with the last year you hear about the nepotism thing, and that is prevalent in Hollywood. But you
Yeah.
know what? When the talent's there, though, I mean, what
Yeah.
can you say? There's a difference between when you watch somebody like they got a famous name and you watch them act and you go like, yeah, they're not a really good actor. They just got there because of their parent.
Well,
But
and then they
sometimes,
have to compare to their parent, and that's tough. But if they can come at it with their own thing, that's really impressive.
yes,
Yeah.
I interviewed a very very talented young lady, Eleanor Lambert,
Mhm.
and her mom was Diane Lane and her daddy was Christopher Lambert.
Wow.
She has skills. There's no
Cool.
doubt about that. I saw her first movie, and she has skills. There was no nepotism needed there because she had it going on.
And but it
Um,
helps. Like it's good to have some help. Like everyone needs some help.
sure, sure, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
our parents help us. I mean, if your dad goes out there and he plays catch with you, and you want to play baseball, and your dad goes out and plays catch with you, what's the difference between that and a father reading lines to a son or a daughter before a film
And
project?
so saying that the reason why my daughter was able to just sort of handle the script the way she has is because she's been my reader
Oh,
for
okay.
yeah, for a really long time.
Um,
So
um,
she's read a lot of scripts and she's had to act with me a lot.
does she help you? Does she help you like when you come out of a role, like say Jennifer? Was she there to help you, get out of that character?
She
Uh,
wasn't born yet.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Oh,
she's 16 now though. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So now, I mean, any role that you do now, is she there to help you, decompress after the role?
Yeah, now it's so different. I mean, once you have kids, it's like it's so much less like you have the job so you can take care of your kid instead of like you have the job so that you can get more jobs. It's sort of it's much different. Yeah. And like Susan Sarandon said, she's like, you're acting with Sean Penn and then it's where's my Tootsie Pop? Like it instantly brings you out of it. Like there's things to be done. You have to take care of the baby. So you definitely put down put down the role.
I'm digging the James Bond vibe here with the martini.
Yeah. My name is Fleming.
Yes, it is Ian
Yeah.
Fleming. Do you get asked a lot if you're related to Ian? Are
I
you,
do. And I'm
are,
not.
oh, did you do the genealogy search?
I haven't.
Oh, I bet if you did, you probably would.
Huh.
That
But
would
don't
be
you have
fun.
to like spit into something and then send that off?
I don't know how they do it,
Yeah. I
but you
should
know
check
what?
it out.
All I can tell you that whatever they do, it works.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, because 3 years ago I found out I had a sister I didn't know I had for 50 years.
Oh, oh, that's wonderful. Well, my grandparents are from England, so maybe.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what, something to think about doing, investigating that. Um, so talk to us about iZombie a little bit. I mean, that's obviously really important. How did you hear about the role? How did you hear about the project? And you mentioned earlier about you played a scene a certain way, and they saw
Uh,
it and they decided to make you a series. Now, were you a series regular or were you recurring on
I
the
was a
show?
recurring character.
So you pop up like 8 or 9 times per year.
Yeah, yeah. They so I got an audition that said they wanted an I Dream of Jeannie type, and I was such a fan of I Dream of Jeannie. Like I couldn't like Barbara Eden. I was just like, oh, this is something I can do this. And I went into the audition dressed like completely like a genie, like and head to toe pink. And when I walked into the audition, all the other ladies were wearing black, and I was very confused. I was like, "Has anyone seen I Dream of Jeannie? Like, what are you thinking?" Um, and then when I went in to do the audition, the director literally said he looked up at me and he went, "Okay, let me give myself something to do here. Okay, can you just do it again, like 50% less?" And then I did that, and he was like, "Okay, you got the part." And I was like, "Great."
Oh.
Yeah.
Now the iZombie, if I'm not mistaken, um, that's okay. Because like I said, I have 3 seasons, but I haven't watched it yet because I still got to get 2 more. Um, but that's the one with the girl who is she's a police. She works for the police department, but she's a zombie herself,
Yeah,
right?
she's already a zombie, and then she solves crimes by eating the brains of the dead people because then she gets the memories of those dead people and then she's able to solve the crimes but because she gets the memories and so she has visions.
Oh my god.
Silly.
Now what I know everybody here is gonna be there are I'm already hearing I'm already getting ready for this. Like, like really, Patrick? But what was your role in the series?
Oh, I played Candy Baker. So the first role was called Trivia Genie, and then I got a call. This is really interesting. I did that role, and then I went and did a play, and I was in rehearsals for the play, and then I just one day I was just in an office, and I thought I would check my email on this large computer. Like we were so in rehearsals that I wasn't even on my phone, but there was a large computer, checked my email, and then I just went to my junk folder just to check it, and in there was an email from Rob Thomas that said the writer's room is freaking out. It was also the email was 2 months old.
Oh,
Yeah, he said that the writer's room was freaking out over my performance with the Trivia Genie, and they want to find a way to bring me back, whether it's writing me in the role of the Trivia Genie or bringing me back as a whole different role. But they're gonna try and figure that out. Would I be open to that? And so I sent that to my agent. I was like, "What do I do?" And she said, "Put together a demo of every single thing you've done that could like tickle their like kind of everything you've done." And so I sent them that with the sort of tagline of like, if you want me to appear, just press this button and I shall appear. And then I got a call that they were working on writing something for me, but they knew the name of my character already, and the name was Candy Baker. And I thought, cool. And they said, we want you to be one of the bad guys, but we're not quite sure what's going to happen. And yeah, and then I was just like, the wardrobe and the hair and makeup for that part took a really long time, but it was like that was the best part of the gig was
oh,
yeah, yeah, it was so the costumes were just so fun, and I had a great time on that show. That is just super super special to my heart. That show.
you embrace that part. I mean, I was mentioning, I noticed that you did, and that was a really interesting movie, Good Luck Chuck,
Right.
and, which is really funny because I mean, I don't know if you consider yourself a screen queen because you have done horror and you've done science fiction and whatnot, um, and you've done horror, obviously, but I was thinking about that when I saw that movie with, that was when they're trying to break Dane Cook, they're trying to make him into a star, and, what was the set what was the filming that one like? Because that movie seemed to be really disjointed. It was like the
Yeah.
first 2 thirds were for fun, but then the 3rd act just went off the rails, and I was just like,
I
was that the writing, or was that a what was it a set thing? Was it
I
a directing?
totally hear you. Like we had such high hopes for that movie, and I got to like improv a ton. I'll tell you, for the audition, I went in and read for another role, and I completely like I missed a joke, and then I just like it was one of those times where you're like you just sort of are deflated and you just give up, but the scene's still happening, and
Oh,
I just had nothing, and the reader fed me a line, and I went, what? Like I just did what? Like I've got nothing. And then the scene was finished, and the casting director was looking at me like, I hate you. And then the director was like, wait. That voice you just did there. And he was just like thumbing through all his pages, and he was freaking out. And the casting director was like looking at me like, don't you move. And I was just waiting. And he gave me two other parts to read for, and I got to leave and then come back. And then I was cast as Dirty Talker. And when I went back in to read for that, the way I did it, they just like the director was he fell off the couch laughing so hard. So I was like, huh, okay, cool.
right, right. I
Me,
mean,
sorry.
it it
To
makes
me,
me
that meant like the director was really cool. He came from an editing background, and it just meant that you could for editors like give them a bunch. That's what I know about editors. Like give them and then they get something to work with. And so on that movie, you just got to I got to improvise. I just like on the day where we had that bed scene, I just brought a bunch and just did a bunch of stuff, and that was really cool. But the reason why the movie didn't work was because there was a bunch of people on set trying to get laid. Like
It,
they're
it, it,
yeah, people
it,
are distracted, and like we could have made a really really good film. And
it,
Jessica Alba certainly came to work. She came there to do her job, and all the ladies I met came there to do the job. But
Did
yeah,
you
I
get to meet
think.
Shellen? Did you get to meet Shellen?
Sorry.
Did you get to meet Shellen Simmons?
Oh, isn't it Shalan?
Yes. Did you get to
Yeah.
meet her?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's right on my list of people to interview.
Yeah.
Like, after I put you, like your name's like right there next to hers. Like I really want to talk to her too.
Yeah, she's really lovely, and if you have her on your show, please say hi. She had this funny story of while we were shooting Good Luck Chuck, there was a picture of her in Us magazine, and they wrote Carrie Fleming, like, and it was just like to be a Vancouver actor and to be finally in Us magazine, and then she's like, and it's not my name, and it was just
Oh no.
yeah, yeah, she's very cool. She's very lovely.
Yes.
Yeah, she's really cool. Yeah,
Um,
that was what was great about movies like that, is because there's a lot of women on set, and that's not often the case.
was do you think part of it was there a lot of pressure on Dane to to be the man? Like what was he like
Well,
when
it's annoying because he had like a slate of movies coming out, and
mm,
none of them took
no,
off,
right,
and he's got a built-in audience because when he does stand-up comedy, he basically sells out auditoriums. So but I think um I don't think like his acting style transfers to film. Like I don't think his performance style transfers to film well, maybe is the
mhm,
or it's just an editing. Like I think he looked adorable, like, and he did good work, but yeah, the rhythm was off, like
yeah.
as far as
It was just a weird movie. I was thinking when I watched it, even when I was watching it, I'm going like, man, like I said, the first two thirds were pretty cool. It was like, all right,
yeah,
and
here we
then the
go.
last
Yeah.
third, it was just like, what do they do? It's
Yeah.
like it was like turned upside down.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Okay, let's get this. We have to get this out of the way because they're talking about this in the chat. That was a mistake. Carrie Ann has never done crank yankers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
mistake of not of mine. It's IMDb, and the person who has done Crank Yankers should fix it, because IMDb, there's like literally no phone number to call. There's no email to, like,
I
you can't.
I thought you could edit your own page though.
You can if you have a membership, which I just canceled my membership because I don't care. But
Right.
it is weird. I mean I care about. I don't say I don't care about having credits that aren't accredited to me. That certainly matters. There's another Carrie Fleming who was like in the movie Brothers, and I kept getting her credits. And so when I had a membership, I made sure to. I was like she didn't have much credits at that point, so I was like make sure she gets this. But um, eventually IMDb just got so annoying that I stopped having a membership. And now, like, as you can see, they're just like, there's no one at the office,
No.
or else the
No.
person with is it 40 credits of Crank Yankers that is accredited?
Yeah. Let's see. They gave
Yeah.
you. I think they gave you. Let's see. Let's see. They gave you 40 episodes.
Like as if I went from Candy Baker and then just moved into puppetry. Like okay, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Uh, but we did notice one thing, and you got inside the superhero world. You did do a role on Supergirl, so
Yeah,
that's really cool because now you're part of the DC universe.
that's true.
I always celebrate that with the actors. It's like, wow, you got now, because now to me that's what that is when you get a role in a superhero. Well,
Yeah,
actually, to tell you the truth, you already got it because you did iZombie and you did the 4400.
yeah.
but you did Masters of Horror. I call those like a golden ticket. Like those are convention tickets. Like if you want to do a horror convention or a comic book convention or a movie convention,
Right.
you're gonna get invited because you got those credits. That's
That's
a
right.
golden ticket. Yeah.
That's right.
Have you ever done a fan convention?
Yeah, I did Fangoria, and then I did a few conventions for. I did the Rogue conventions for Supernatural. So I've been for Jennifer and a movie, The Tooth Fairy, and so they were the same production company. So I did Fangoria for those, and that was so fun. And then I did the conventions for Supernatural, which are like a whole other entity. Like it's a whole other business that you can take part in. And those took place in the UK. So that was really, really fun.
Uh,
I
Supernatural fans even today are absolutely bonkers, aren't they?
ravenous and lovely, just wonderful human beings. I have really close friends that I've made of the fans of Supernatural. Just really good people. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I mean, do you ever go to their boards or groups like that and just watch what they write?
Do I go to the no,
Yeah.
no.
No. I mean,
No.
like on Facebook or something like, or Reddit, you just pop in there and just to see them talk about the characters.
I guess yeah, every now and then you Google yourself and then you come across things. Yeah, absolutely. Um
What's that like when you do Google yourself and you see something stuff like that or something new on there? Are you curious? Do you ever read it? What's new? Like, oh, what's this about me? What are they saying about me now? Do you
like
ever go explore that?
before this, I Googled myself and I came up with like a video review of Jennifer, and the guy like did a full breakdown of Jennifer, and he really liked it, and it was fun. I watched the entire thing. Um, and then Supernatural fans are very kind to my character Karen Singer. Um, so they just think I'm so sweet and just love me so much. So it's nice. I will say when Jennifer first aired and sort of the internet was just sort of like becoming a thing, I um, found a message board and it said, this actress should kill herself. And I was like, okay, like, is this what is happening? Um, but now I know that's very small amount of people on the internet is people who
Right.
stuff like that, but it was sort of my first taste. But I kind of forgot all about it, but
You know what happened. If he wrote that only tells me one thing. It tells me that whoever wrote that was extremely scared and frightened when they watched Jennifer.
yes,
Yeah, that
it
tells me that. That
should
tells
be.
me that. Yeah. Have people commented to you about that? Have they said that was absolutely terrifying? I mean, what do you think your biggest reaction is from your fans? What do you think you're known for most? I'm gonna say Supernatural, but do you think it's iZombie or you think it's something else?
um
Super-
I don't know, like I got recognized from Supernatural, but generally I think I look so different in all my characters that I don't get recognized. It's when um people like I'll be having a conversation or I'll know someone for a while and then they find out it's this look they get on their face. They're like or they get like really excited um or like I showed Jennifer to my cousin and she was sitting next to me. I've known her my entire life. She loves me so much and we're watching it and she's like just moving slowly further and further away from me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you. Like she's like, eh. Yeah.
yeah. That's when inside you like I've done this. Like if I could move somebody like that, as and affect them that way, someone close to me. What's it like out there in the world? Like how like I can tell you right now, I was sitting at the edge of my seat. That was a very very intense episode.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was of course I got choked up when you killed the kitty. I was like, well, you know what,
But not the child.
uh, uh, Yeah, but I guess maybe 'cause I'm a cat
Not
guy.
the not the circus. Okay.
Uh,
I
I
found
don't know.
someone in a fridge. Can you? Okay.
You know what it is? I don't know what it is. It's like, um, well, that's something too, that's actually sort of, gone away. It used to be, that shows and movies never killed kids. Now it's like open season. Now it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah, you can go ahead. Am I killing this kid here? Oh yeah, you're killing him. Take out his throat.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know. Since the Hunger Games, things have changed. Yeah, it's weird.
Um,
That's right.
let's talk about that for a second. Now,
Okay.
the actor who played the child,
Yeah.
did you talk to him before the scene and after the scene? Like, hi,
So yeah, this is something that was really important to me. Is like I could tell, like I could tell uh, that all the producers on Jennifer were at that point kind of scared of me because I had complained about that one producer and but I hadn't named him. They just sort of thought like Carrie's like a live wire sort of thing. And so everyone was very um, careful, which is fine. But when the day came where the child was going to be on set and she was going to have to interact with me, I thought it was really, really important that I meet her without the
yeah,
prosthetic on.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I went and to her trailer but like when I talked to production about it, they were confused. Like, no, the kid's gonna be fine. She doesn't need to have a conversation with the adult that's gonna
Oh,
be
so
anyway. So yeah, I went and talked to the mom and just like really bonded with the kid. And then you can see in the scene that we're like having a good time. And that scene in particular, Dario wanted a very Frankenstein vibe. So in the Frankenstein movie, he meets a small child and they have sort of like this moment before um, so that you can sort of draw the child in as well as Jennifer enjoys the interaction. She loves she's not only evil, she's also
no,
like,
I never saw her as evil.
yeah, no, but I mean, she will eat you
Yeah, but
eventually.
that's because that was her species, though. That was who
Yeah,
she was.
it's
It
just her
didn't.
it's just her vibe, but at first she's gonna play with you. She's sort of like a cat would play with her food first.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. A cat, yeah. Um,
So yeah, and I know that little girl is like well grown up now, and I know that she had a good experience with me on set. I mean, I haven't spoken to her, but I know because at the end of the day, I checked in with her, and we had just a great time. And I know Dario was so happy with how that scene played out.
I was thinking about another movie, and actually I could remember this. They did the same thing, and that was the Dawn of the Dead remake. And in the very first scene of the remake, they had that little girl. She's roller skating or skateboarding. She talks to Sarah Polley, another famous Canadian.
Yeah.
Um, and then that night she comes in and you see her and she's got this prosthetic on there with
Ugh.
the yes. So you know the scene I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I love that movie.
Yes. Oh,
Love that.
me too. Me too.
Yeah.
They had a lovely actress on there that I was friends with. She retired though. I don't understand that because she was so great. But her name was Kim Poirier,
Oh, I know
and
Kim Poirier. I know
yeah,
her really well.
yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, like
Uh,
she's a good friend of mine.
really,
Yeah.
I'm on one hand, I know she's a mom. She's got a big family now,
Yeah.
and a nice blended family. Beautiful pictures,
Right.
she retired. She became a
Yeah.
mom, and
Yeah.
but she was in that, and then and what they did was they took the girl aside and they talked to her and they put the prosthetic on and then they showed it to her in the mirror,
Yeah.
and they talked to her, yeah, and then so when she, so they wouldn't be, she wouldn't be scared or whatnot, and she absolutely embraced it, and
Yeah,
she,
you have to so you can make sure that to get them through the scene, you don't want them to freeze up and then everyone has to wait and then it's yeah. So yeah. Yeah. But it's about understanding children.
mm. We have to get you back out there because we're fans now. We're diehard fans of Carrie Anne Fleming, and I guess the big question is, and I'll make this our last one, but when are you gonna get out there again? When are we gonna be able to see you again?
Well, I guess when they make something I want to be a part of. Um,
What kind of
yeah.
movie, what kind of role do you want to play next? I mean,
So that's what I'm. So that's really interesting that you say that. It's just like I'm not really interested in activating my nervous system like over and over again, because that's what they do. Is like all roles require like this intense drama, unless you're doing a Hallmark production.
I was
Um,
just gonna say that. I was gonna
yeah,
say I don't think you can get. I don't think you can get your nervous. I think you would have to slap your nervous system to get up
yeah, you have to
doing
wake yourself
Hallmark.
up.
Yeah.
So I guess I could do Hallmark. There's like Lifetime I could do. But I'm just gonna wait. And I really feel like maybe when I'm like in my 60s, I'll have something to offer. But
Maybe I can help out a little bit. Do you know Crystal Lowe?
I sure do.
You know she's gonna get she's getting a movie from Hallmark to direct.
Yeah,
She's
so
directing it.
that's really cool that that Hallmark is giving opportunities for actors to direct. That's wicked. That's awesome. It's a good experience. Yeah.
I mean, at least you know if with Crystal, you know that because she's got a background much like yours, in horror and science fiction and whatnot. You
Yeah.
know that she will probably get something to jump your system with. I'm just laying that out there, like is she, I don't, because they're not going to give her a Christmas movie. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
They're not going to give her, no, God, no. They're going to give her a mystery. I told her
Good.
that already. They're going to give you a mystery to do.
Crystal is excellent. She's excellent, and whatever she makes, I will watch. But for me, I don't know. Yeah, I would love to
Have you
I
thought
love
about directing yourself?
absolutely, yeah. But not a Hallmark.
No, no, we're not gonna, no. I was thinking more like, I was thinking more action, more, something science fictiony, something like that. Would you want to take a, challenge like that on?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just enjoying just surfing and having a nice, calm nervous system and not rushing around.
That's
Just
that's a good place to be though,
yeah.
Carrie. Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's a really good place to be in. And I guess it's just half of us are. Hey, hello everybody. Hobbs is here. Sequanda Films is here. Hello, hello. Glad you guys are coming in. Um, our friend Classy Cookery says hello. I got into one of those. I got into one of those interview guys that I sort of forgot you guys. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, Dawn of the Dead is an awesome remake. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Dead movie. In fact, I just did a review when I was talking about Jake Weber. I love Jake Weber. I think he's an awesome actor. He
Yeah, I
stole
love all zombie
he stole
movies.
that.
Yeah.
He stole that movie for me. Um, so yes, the Dawn of the Dead remake is really really good. James Gunn wrote a great script. He should stay writing horror.
Yeah, maybe I could do a zombie movie here on the island.
Man, yeah, yeah. Did you watch? I say that this would be the last question.
Okay.
Promise. Um, did you grow up watching horror? Did you have a favorite horror movie or horror actor or actress or director?
Um,
Anything that sort of inspired you? Well, you got to work with one of the very best in Argento.
well, I when I was a kid, someone played Army of Darkness, and I remember watching it and going like I didn't get it at all. Like I was like, this is stupid. And then I watched it later and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Um it's the so and then like there's another one. And so I went back and watched Evil Dead and I was like, how do you do that? Like this seems amazing. And the zombies in that movie just went for it. And it turned out that those zombies were just friends of the director. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, so like you can get your friends and you can get your friends to do things and then you can also like tie a camera to a tree and just like or sorry and just like pull a camera through a forest and then that's your scene and it's so terrifying um and then Bruce Campbell is such a special actor, and I love how he hasn't been able to branch out, and like he kills it at conventions and stuff. But um,
You
it
know, though,
was
he
it
did
was.
break out one show that no one ever gives him credit for, and they never really talk about it. We
I,
talked about it a little bit.
I heard
It,
it's really good.
um, the series that he does,
Yeah,
the one where to me, is his best work overall.
yeah.
He did a show called Burn Notice.
Oh, okay. There's another one. Okay, I will check that out because he's got such a movie star face, and he was just so perfect. And then his the way he was like I didn't really understand camp at that point, and now I do, and so it's such a pleasure to watch those movies. In fact, I'm a bit jonesing to watch one right now.
Uh-oh.
Again, but that's where I first came into it, and it was watching the actors play the zombies, that and how they went for it, and I realized, oh, you get to do that. That looks fun, like where you can just kind of go crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, all right, boys and girls. I'm gonna go ahead and let our guest go. I kept her a little bit longer than I promised, but I've absolutely had a blast. This is
Me
so much
too.
fun talking to you.
Me
I
too.
do hope that you'll come back. When something cool happens and
Okay.
you're fired up and ready to rock and roll, we're gonna be right here rooting you on.
Thank you.
Um, I'll make sure I keep my cat away from you, of course. I don't, as far as sitting on next to, you know what though? I think we all be comfortable sitting next to the couch next to Carrie Ann and checking out whatever she was
I'm
on.
very, yeah, in person. I'm
I
very
know you
I'm
are.
comfortable.
You're a lovely person. This has
Thank
been
you.
a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really honored that you did.
No
And
problem, Patrick.
um, all right, everybody. Tomorrow night we have the lovely John Marie Mack will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I didn't even ask you about Yui Bowl, and I got him coming Sunday. Did you like him? Did you like working for him?
He is a very he runs a great set, and he is a wonderful person.
I can't wait to talk to him. I
Yeah.
really, he's going to be a blast. Yeah, I'll
Did
send
you
you.
see the movie where he fought his critic in a boxing ring?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'm going to be talking to him about that because one of those guys is a friend of mine.
No.
Yes, Chris Alexander.
The one he fought?
Yeah, he fought four of them,
Oh my
and
God. Oh,
yeah, Chris Alexander is one of them.
that's okay. Well, I'm gonna watch that because I want to know what yeah, because he came and he knocked him out. I hope he didn't knock your friend out. I'm sorry.
I think we're talking about that, and I was just thinking, man,
Mhm.
I wish he would have played that differently. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask him that. I'm gonna say, if you had to do that all over, what would you have done differently? Because
Right.
I think if you just would have just tapped them a little bit and had some fun with it,
Right.
and then at the end of it, raise their hands, or become friends with these guys.
Right.
I
Right.
think it
Right.
would have changed a lot.
But
But
in their defense, this was the early 2000s, and everything was just like super crazy then. So
well, I
now,
totally understand his frustration. I totally get that because I'm sure he'll agree with me. It's fucking frustration. You go out there, you bust your ass making a movie, and even
yeah,
before it's released, everybody's jumping all over you for it. It's like,
yeah,
it's not right. It's not
no,
fair. You got to
no,
get it out there and let it breathe. Then,
yeah,
then if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you're already giving the guy a hard time without even seeing any of his movies, and he's
yeah,
made good movies.
yeah. And he's
Uh,
giving a lot of people work.
yes.
Uh, okay, well, good luck.
Yes. All right, boys and girls, we are out of here. We will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And thank you for coming in. And yeah, thank you. If you can stay 1 second, and I'm going to say goodbye to the chat.